श्रीमद भक्ति ठाकुर की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नम आचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की, जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन धाम की, वृंदावन मथुरा गोकुल द्वारका धाम की, नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, पुण्य क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई यमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, कलयुग पावन तारण हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू शिशि गुरु एंड शिशि गौरंगा श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा, we welcome you everybody for the weekly session of Bhagavad Gita. We are discussing on the third chapter, Karma Yoga, and we have completed the first two sections. That is the questions by Arjuna, the first section, and then answer by Krishna from 3.3 to 3.9 as the second section, which is based on Nishkam Karma Yoga. And today, that is 3.10 to 3.17, this is the third section, where we will again discuss on Karma Kanda, which will be dovetailed to Karma Yoga. So, we thank Sunil Prabhu and Darshana Mataji and both the kids. So, you know that they have organized this program at their house today. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, शुरुआत करते हैं. I have shared the link. मैंने लिंक शेयर की है, जिसके बाद भगवद गीता नहीं है, क्योंकि मैंने रेस्पेक्टिव भगवद गीता जिनको थी उनको दे दी वापस. तो मैंने बोला किसी को, सबके पास है भगवद गीता, बट लिंक दिए मैंने, मोबाइल में आप खोल सकते हैं. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकीम् कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Chapter 3, Slok क्रमांक 10. saha-yajñāḥ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापति anena prasaviṣyadhvam एष वोस्त्व iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk saha-yajñāḥ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापति anena prasaviṣyadhvam एष वोस्त्व iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk saha-yajñāḥ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापति anena prasaviṣyadhvam एष वोस्त्व iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk saha-yajñāḥ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापति anena prasaviṣyadhvam एष वोस्त्व iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk saha-yajñāḥ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापति anena prasaviṣyadhvam. Esha wo iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk. Hare Krishna. पढ़ना है माता जी? May word to word meaning. Saha, along with. Yajñā, sacrifice. Praja, generations. Sṛṣṭvā, creating. Pura, anciently. Purovāca, said. Prajāpatiḥ, the Lord of creatures. Anena, by this. Prasaviṣyadhvam, be more and more prosperous. Esha, this. Va, your. Astu, let it be. Iṣṭa, of all desirable things. Kāma-dhuk, best over. Translation purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Repeat after me. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of creatures, the Lord of all creatures, sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and bless them by saying, be thou happy by this yajna, sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Purport. कोई पढ़ेगा? पढ़ो.
The materialization by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this eternal relation. As it is stated in a Bhagavad Gita, Vedas,
Vedescha sarver aham eva vedya.
the Lord says that the purpose of the Veda is to understand Him. In the Vedic hymns, it is said, Patyam.
Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaram.
Therefore, the Lord of the living entities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who in the Srimad Bhagavatam, also 2.4.20, Srila Sukdeva Goswami described the Lord is Pati in so many ways.
श्रियपतिर यज्ञपतिर प्रजापतिर दीयपतिर लोकपतिर धरापति पतिर गतिस चंदक वृष्णि सात्वताम प्रसीदताम में भगवान सतामपति.
The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and he is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds, and all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created the material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajna, sacrifices, for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world they can live very comfortably with anxiety, and after finishing their present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of yajna, the conditional soul gradually became Krishna conscious and became godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the name of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in the age. Sankirtana, Yajna, and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna, in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya, and mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32, as follow with special reference to the Sankirtana Yajna.
Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangasra Parshadam Yagner Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasa.
In the age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship their Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by the performance of Sankirtana Yajna. Other yajnas prescribed in Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali. But this Sankirtana Yajna is easily and this sublime for all purpose, as recommended in Bhagavatam Gita, also 9.14.
Hare Om Tat Sat Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhamvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopiga Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So 3.10, very important slok, as actually every slok in Bhagavad Gita is important, but it makes some transformative changes. So that's why we should understand this. So before understanding 3.10, it is always connected with in the previous slok. So what was the previous slok saying about it? 3.9, we'll just have a recap. Yeah. Yes, we have to do our karma or sacrifice. We have to do sacrifices for pleasing Vishnu, right? So, or we have to perform our works for the purpose of yajna. Actually, it is we have to perform our work for the purpose of yajna. And when we say for the purpose of yajna is what? Yajna is Vishnu. Yajna is Vishnu. Yajño vai Vishnu. That's what. Yajna synonym. Vai is used as a synonym. So yajño vai Vishnu means. So for the satisfaction of do your work for the satisfaction of yajna means do the work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. That is what we understood. And yajna itself means Vishnu. We took many examples also, like Vishnu Sahasranam, and in fact quoted by Prabhupada also some 2-3. Okay. So we discussed was free from bondage, because if we do other than the purpose of Vishnu, then it would create karmic reaction, that is we will have bondage. That was the main thing, because whatever karma we do, if it doesn't end up with Vishnu, or no, if it is not done for the satisfaction of Vishnu, or if it is not done for dovetailed for the Vishnu, then it would end up in a karmic bondage. So if you have to be free from bondage, 3 things important. We have to do it in the form of sacrifice. That is, we have to do it in the form of nishkama bhav. Okay, you have to do your work. You have to do it in a nishkam bhav, and then offer it to Vishnu. Right? Because that was the 3 things, right? What we discussed was Yeah. Anything else? Do we remember? Karma bandhana also we discussed, right? We have karma bandhana, which is 2 types. Saumya, three types. Saumya, you know, yes. Anishta, Ishta, and Mishra. All the karma phalas we discussed, right? Anishta, of course, when we do in Papa karmas and Ghora karmas, because that's what Arjuna was questioning. So that also gives us bondage. And Saumya karma, we have done it just to, means like, like we took the example of Bhishma. He just saved the snake from the eagle, but he ended up throwing the snake into the bushes which had thorns. And that karma he had to face by sleeping on the bow of arrows, in the bed of arrows. So, Saumya karma he had done, but he had to still face the reaction. And Mishrit karma also. We discussed about Mishrit karma also. Like, people, we discussed about the skyscraper, right? The 9/11, where Prabhupada had gone there and he said, see, the Krishna's energy, it is used for so good purposes. But if this building, falls, how many of this thing would, get lost? So he didn't predict that, but, he was stating that, so many people have put their karma, and if just this falls, actually what happens? All of this, so many things gets, the purpose for which it is made to touching the sky is all defeated. So be it in any form of this thing, karma bandhana would attract. So that is why the only option is yajñāḥ, that is, do it for the satisfaction of Vishnu. And with that, what will happen? Mukta sangha, that you will be free from attachment, sangha, attachment. You will be free from all kinds of attachment. That is where nishkama karma and samachara. Whatever you do that perfectly. Give your 100%. Okay, we may say it may depend, but you have to try your level first. Whatever karma you're doing, you have to give your best. Do it perfectly. And that way, Krishna ended up, answering Arjuna that, you have to do your work. Without work, anyway, you cannot, the Prakriti will force you to do the karma. You cannot sit idle. You will have to do your work, but you have to do it with jnana. That is, do it in knowledge and forego the results, detachment. So this way he ends up. Now, it is very easy when we say that, okay, forego the results and everything. It's very easy. But many of them we know it's very difficult to forego the results. Forego means like, person who is attached too much to material life, he cannot perform nishkam karma, then what does it say? So that is where Krishna starts the second ladder, that is a progressive yoga ladder. That, at least do your, from means the lowest rank, that is from animal life, if a person is living his life without any Vedic, just like animal, eating, mating, sleeping, defending. So from there, Krishna just, asks them to come to Karma Kanda level. Okay, Karma Kanda level, stating that, you do the work, you do the work, and, you do as per the authorized, principles of the Vedas. So when you do that, what will happen? He gives you that. So that's so materialistic people, when they expect results, it is karma kanda. Like, you do something and you expect something in return. So that is where exactly Krishna starts today. Live happily in this world gradually and achieve liberation. That's what he says in today's shloka. Live happily in this world and then gradually achieve liberation. Why? The principle behind that is, if you do this karma kanda and do it in a religious way, and that will give you a chance for you to get purified. So if you do it in a religious way, so don't mind if you want to do karma kanda, you do, but do it in a religious way so that offer the results to Vishnu, so that at least you are not attached. You are not free from the karmic bondage. You may reap the benefit, but you may forego some benefit within it. So if you do it, because when you do yajñas, what happens? You give your sacrifice. That's what we understood. When you do yajña, you give something. The whole principle of doing yajña is what? We give something into the fire, sacrifice, that is whatever elements available with us, for a better result, right? We offer something little for a big result. So this is where exactly, so it's karma yoga, which we already discussed, but again, Krishna drops down to the lowest ladder and explains this about karma kanda. So next 6-7 sloks, he says you have to do this. So he's starting today, very important, like saha-yajñāḥ sṛṣṭvā purovāca prajāpatiḥ anena prasaviṣyadhvam esha was iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk. Saha-yajñāḥ means with the sacrifice. Saha-yajñāḥ, with this sacrifice. यज्ञों के साथ साथ प्रजा सृष्टवा, praja was created in the beginning. So creation also Krishna has discussed. Today. So along with yajna, it is also the praja was created in the beginning. Praja sṛṣṭvā. So purovāca. So purovāca means this was said. Uvaca is bola gaya. Puro means pehle. At the start of creation, this was spoken by Prajāpatiḥ. So Prajāpatiḥ here, the meaning is the Lord of all creatures. The Lord of all creatures. So we'll discuss, like there are so many Prajāpatīs, but then this is the meaning is Lord of all creatures. So anena prasaviṣyadhvam. So with this, doing this yajñas, you become more and more prosperous. And Esha was iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk. And let this yajna, be your desire fulfilling cow. Esha was iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk. Kāma-dhuk will understand Kāma-dhenu गाय जो होती है. So let this be your desire fulfilling cow. जिसको बोलते हैं ना कि हमारी desire machine है, तो ये so Kāma-dhuk is one of the thing. So आपके सारे desires आप ऐसा पूरा करो. So Krishna from this verse, he is talking on the principle of sacrifice, the historical origin at the start of creation. Okay, he is talking about the principle of sacrifice and its historical origin at the start of the sacrifice. At the start, along with the sacrifice. And he is also giving you a hint that why are you in this material world? Why are you in this material world? Why are we in this material world? Why did we fall into this material world? We keep discussing, right? For our material desires. So Krishna is today telling you that thing only. That you fulfill all your material desires by performing all the yajna in a Vedic way. So this is where the hint that, when we say, how did we fall into this material world? We wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna, and Krishna said, okay, this is the material world, go there and enjoy. Fulfill all your desires. But you remember, you have to come back to me. You have to get back and come back to me. That is where he speaks about, you enjoy things and then get yourself purified and come back to me as a liberation. So this is where it gives you a hint. It doesn't directly say it, but it gives you a hint. That is where, why do we have to desires to be fulfilled? So, you have come in this material world because of your desires only. So the main point, of course, here to understand is that, the sacrifice and the praja. So praja is jivas, yes. All the yajna and praja, both are coexistent. Means both came together since creation. That is where we, praja and yajna. So both came together. So what is the meaning saying? Saha-yajñāḥ praja sṛṣṭvā. Saha-yajñāḥ praja sṛṣṭvā. Yajna was created along with praja during sṛṣṭvā, during creation. In beginning. Praja means what? One who prakrishta rupen jayate. That is one who takes birth. Jayate. अर्थात जो जन्म लेता है, वह प्रजा है. Often in vernacular sense, we take praja as only, for the purpose of population, we take only human beings as praja. But whereas the etymological meaning is that, one who takes birth is a praja. One who takes birth. So all the 84 lakh species comes under the category of praja. All comes under category of praja. So when all living entities, along with the yajna, they were created By whom? Purovāca in the beginning. Purovāca is during the starting, in the beginning, from the time immemorial. Huh? So, and this is said by Prajāpatiḥ. So Krishna did not say that creation I made, yajñas and all creatures separately. He did not say that. What the word used is saha-yajñāḥ. Along with yajña, I created praja. He did not say separately. Just like, there is a machine, and to run the machine, there is a manual. The manual is given to you along with the machine. The manufacturer will not just deliver you the machine today and say after 6 months, I will give you the manual. Similarly, Krishna did not say that I created, praja first and the yajñas, the manual for which, you have to come back doing that yajña, performing those yajña, you have to come back to me. I will give you after 6 months. No, he did not say that. Saha-yajñāḥ. Along with the delivery of the machine, manual is delivered. Similarly, along with the praja, all the instructions and all the knowledge and all the yajñas which one has to do, means all sacrifices which one has to do, has been delivered. How the machine has to be run, you have to refer the manual, right? If you are a new person to operate a machine, because it could be hazardous. Don't think of washing machine and ये तो सब ठीक है हमारे लिए रोज के मरने की वजह से बहुत easy है. Suppose कोई बड़ी machinery बनाई है factory में, so you should know how to operate it, right? Otherwise, you may end up in a mishap, in a hazard. You could harm yourself. So similarly, the yajñas have been created for the praja. Okay, for the praja. And if the praja does not want to utilize them properly, then they may also end up in a hazard. They may also end up in a hazard because as per the prescribed thing, if it is not used, then they can end up in a hazard. And what is that hazard? Bondage, karma bandhana. The hazard for us is karma bandhana. So that is where exactly, this both were given together so that you feel bondage free, enjoy yourself and come back to me. That was what the original, when the Karma Kanda section starts actually, that is where it is give and take relationship. So the main purpose of Krishna discussing in the beginning of creation here is that if we perform actions based on the creator's principle, then we may save ourselves from karma bandhana, right? If we do it as per our whims and fancies, then we'll certainly end up in karma bandhana. So machine, if you do it as per your whims and fancies, you will ruin this thing. The whole purpose for which it was created, it may go hayway, or you may lose your hand or leg or anything.
So that Praja and Yajna same time. Praja is around the creatures, right?
Yes.
84 lakh species.
Yeah. So yajna also today has been spoken as.
But you see, but within that Praja itself, there's a hierarchy. Right? See, only Manav is able to do it.
Exactly.
Not no dog is doing yajna.
No. That's what.
Thinking, I don't know.
No. Of course, that is where yajna is used in a plural sense today. Yeah. So yajna means we'll come to that also. Yajna is used in a plural sense today. Everybody has to perform their yajna. For a animal, his yajna is to only eating, sleeping, defending. That is where animal life. That's what we call it as. So if a human being has an intellect, if that was
yes, they at the same time, but for the Manav species,
yes,
that is the one
the higher.
Able to understand the importance of
exactly
talking like this.
Yes, exactly.
Within that Praja itself, there is hierarchy. So there is some movement within that. Now we are talking about leaving and going by God.
Yes.
But within this material world itself, there is a movement across the species of Praja.
Exactly. All the 84 lakhs of species. So within that species, all the animal life, there are only 4 works: eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Okay. They cannot Atato Brahma Jigyasa, they cannot do. That Jigyasa can be done only by the human bodies. Okay, that is where this after passing all the 84 lakh species, we come to human birth. And even after coming to human birth, if we still want to just eat, mate, sleep, defend, then again we may end up, like mishap, like machine not being used properly, we may end up again going to any Pashu Yoni or anything. So this karma bandhana, bondage comes only because of that. So we have to be bondage free. That is where exactly do it as per what is prescribed by the creator. And again, karmanubandhini manushya loke. So karma bandhan is only for manushya loka. So yajna durlabha. Manava janma durlabha. That is why I think so. I have heard that song. Even in this Kalidasa also, this song comes in. Yeah. So yajna has to be performed by humans only. That's where exactly I was saying. Yajna has to be performed by humans compulsorily, as per the prayer, and they have to do it. Then only they will be happy. And if they do not do yajna, they will not be happy. Because Krishna, going forward, will say in 4.31, he says, Nayam lokostya yajnasya putonya purusattamaha. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one will never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next life? So, if you do not perform yajna, if you do not perform your puja paddhati or whatever you call it as, your niyat karma and all those, so leave about the next life. You will not be happy in this life itself. So, leave about next life, because what you do in this life will determine your next life. So if one has to perform sacrifice, then he has to, performance, then he has to do what is the process. What is the process? So process is again defined in 17th chapter actually. Process of, you have to do it in, sato guna, rajo guna, tamo guna, all different things, how sacrifice has to be done. So in 17.13, it is, they have given 5 reasons. So 17.13, if you open, they have given 5 reasons for doing a yajna and the processes that, a yajna to complete and has to be in sato guna, then these 5 things are required. What are those? Vidihinam, asrushtanam, mantrahinam, adakshanam, shraddha virahitam yajñam, tamasam parichakshate. So, translation is?
418.
17.13.
In this sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic
Mantras,
remunerations to the priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of
ignorance. Yes. So, and so 5 things are defined here. What is it? That yajna shastra vidhi ke anusar hona chahiye, right? Yajna should be based on shastras. You have to, whatever deeds you do, it should be based on shastra. Then after the deed, whatever sacrifice you do, there has to be a prasada. Because when you do it for the satisfaction of Vishnu, and if you do not distribute prasada, it's of no use. And it should be done by chanting Vedic mantras. Vedic mantras also has to be chanted during the process. We do, quite a few things we do, because what we are doing is, this is also is yajna. We are doing Bhagavad Gita recitation yajna, study yajna. And that we do, we offer prasad, we offer, we read mantras, we read, so many Sanskrit mantras we read, we make you repeat, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra we repeat, and mantra ka ucharan, and then purohit ko dakshina. So it is not necessary that, it is a dakshina which is to be given to, it is not, I am not a professional purohit, but we are all discussing, but we do, when you do for the purpose of all, that is included in that, when you do it for the purpose, it is included. And when we have special occasions, we all have been doing it. It's not that, and then, and yajna, then 5th one is, yajna karte samay mein shraddha avashya honi chahiye. It has to be done with shraddha. If you're doing any activity without any shraddha, then it will be called as tamasic yajna. So when tamasic yajna is bondage, it is said in 17.25, it is also said that, if you do it in a tamasic way, 17.25 says that you will obtain karma bandhana. So it has to be done with shraddha. So that is where exactly when you do this yajna with the so today we are talking about Agnihotra Yajna only. Going forward, as the chapters we go forward, we will come to know Yajna is so many things. Gyan Yajna, Dhyan Yajna, so many Yajnas will come in. Even chanting is Yajna, everything you will come to know. So as of now, we have been telling this, but that, as of now, Krishna introduced first with the fire yajna only, because then do it sacrifice for the purpose of Vishnu and yajna arthat. So we took yajna in sacrifice means generally it is the fire sacrifice. But Srila Prabhupada, so that you should not get confused, right from 10 point, in every shloka, he is brought the Sankirtan yajna into picture. So that you all should not get diverted. Because if you do Sankirtan yajna, that will also serve the same purpose what it has been serving by doing Agnihotra yajna in the respective ages and all those. So that's why Srila Prabhupada in every shloka brings about the this thing of bhakti. So especially in Karma Kanda, that you should not get carried away with Karma Kanda. Bhai, Bhagavad Gita ne bola enjoy karo. You should not get carried away by reading only just this shlok, because we have to read the entire Bhagavad Gita as a gist, right? So that is where exactly he says you have to do it, that. So for this yajna, for this yuga, it is Sankirtan yajna which is important. So 4 yugas, all the 4 yajnas, right? Trite dhyayato Vishnum tretayam yajato makai dvapare paricharyayam kalo tadari kirtanat, right? These are the 4 yajnas. So for Satya Yuga, it is dhyanam. Treta, it is fire sacrifice. Dwapara, it is darshanam of the Lord. And Kali Yuga, it is just Nama Sankirtana. And that is where Srila Prabhupada had quoted that, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagne Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Sumedasa, in the purport where he had quoted that, in Kali Yuga, there will be people who with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, accompanied by his associates by performing the Sankirtan Yajna. That is where when we do Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, when we start this, so these 5 are nothing but Lord's associates. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya is himself Krishna, Prabhu Nityananda, Balarama, Sri Advaita Advaitacharya, that is Vishnu and Sadashiv. Gadadhara is Radharani, and Srivas is the Bhakt, that is Narad. So all his associates are there when we take up the name. So when we take the holy name, the associates actually help us out to take the sins away when we do it in an inattentive way. That is where the sins are taken away by them. That is where in Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most merciful form, has come to give us this Harinam. And this is recommended in Bhagavad Gita also, Prabhupada has quoted, which is 9.14. 9.14 is the Satatam Kirtayantoma Yatasvancha Dhrudavrata Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasade. That, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls worship me perpetually with devotion. So this is where exactly Sankirtan Yajna comes in. Whereas...
This Sankirtan, in the purpose of Sankirtan and Krishna consciousness go very together.
Yes.
But does it imply that there are other ways also?
Yeah, Nama Sankirtana. Krishna consciousness, we say, okay, Prabhupada has given Krishna consciousness the name itself of the society. But even if you go to Sri Sampradaya, they do Sri Raman Narayan. That is also Krishna consciousness. You go.
This question is different. He is asking कि अगर suppose आपने प्राणायाम किया है, आपने ध्यान योगा किया, क्योंकि I think even as per Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, Krishna says कि if you do Nishkam Karma Yoga, it will fructify the knowledge.
Yes.
And the knowledge
has to end up in transcendence.
That knowledge is about Brahman.
Yeah, it has to end up in transcendence.
So, Sankirtan Yajna is a one way.
Yes.
Okay, it's recommended for this yoga, but that doesn't mean that other yajnas are not qualified. Eventually, we'll go to the same place. There is no doubt about that. क्योंकि बाद में वो खुद भी कहते हैं कि
no, it's okay. Yeah. That is okay. Going forward till 6th chapter, we'll come to the extended yoga ladder, everything. But what the whole motto here was, that yajna. Now earlier Satyuga and Treta Yuga, the yajna was Agnihotra yajnas. Okay, so people used to do yajnas, Agnihotra yajnas, doing fire sacrifices and getting things done. So that same thing will not be possible today. That is where Prabhupada meant that, Krishna consciousness and this goes together. So actually this Brahmaji invoked sacrifice. Hum sabhi jante hain, Brahmaji had done tapasya, invoked sacrifice, and through which, Vedas and Agnihotras were manifested. Okay, in his heart, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavihi. The Lord manifested all the Vedas and the Agnihotras in Brahmaji's heart. So when Brahmaji did sacrifice, all these Agnihotras and Vedas were automatically appeared. And why automatically? Because they are all eternal. All the Vedas are also eternal. It has come from the eternal Lord and they are all eternal. The Gyan is also eternal. So when they appeared, so when you read the Vedas, and if you do not want to perform the Agnihotra Yagyas, if you want to read the Vedas and you do not want to perform the Yagyas, then the Shastra says the result would be Nishphala. The result would be Nishphala. उसका result निष्फल हो जाता है. मतलब उसका जो result आना चाहिए वो निष्फल हो जाता है. So we already like Agnihotra Yagyas we discussed when we did Yajna Arthat, this, the samagri of this was also invented by Varadev. So that is the reason why it is best suitable, those kinds of samagri, original Purush, original Brahmans chanting those kind of mantras and all those are very difficult today. We are all Punga Brahmans. Okay, Guru Maharaj has given us some ability, they have given us Brahman Diksha, but still, we are not those who can, by mantras invoke fire and all those. We don't have that kind of siddhi, So those kinds of Brahmans are not available and all that. That is where it is said Sankirtan Yajna, and it goes well with Krishna consciousness. All other things will end up, because whatever knowledge, it has to end up with transcendence, and that itself is more than enough, because that when you end up in transcendence, that means you are ending up with Vishnu or Krishna or, anything, and that is where exactly you can go back to him in any way. Purovāca means it was said long back. Saha-yajñāḥ prajāsishra purovāca, it was said long back in the beginning itself only. Pura was also used in 3.3. In 3.3 also Pura was used. See, 3.3 you see, Pura was used there. There also what did Krishna say? Before this, 3.3 also purovāca is used. Pura prokta maya naga he used. Right? So I have spoken this previously in the second chapter. I have spoken about two knowledges, that is Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga in the second chapter. So I have spoken it previously. So that's where he used Pura. And and today he's taking that same Pura with creation time and saying that, this Yajna and this Praja I have created together. So no, and Yajna he has used it in plural sense. So no, okay, the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga were the two margas which was discussed by Krishna during then, and Pura was used for that particular purpose, and Purovāca is being used for multiple Yajnas. Here it is being used for Yajnas which has been used for multiple Yajnas. Yajna is not a singular word here. He used as double A, Yajna. So बहुत सारे यज्ञ, जितने जीव उतने यज्ञ, परंतु मनुष्य लोगों के लिए यज्ञ बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि बाकी जीव तो अपने यज्ञ करते ही है, वो उनको बाकी कोई चीज मतलब नहीं रहता है ना. उनके सामने, जैसे गाय के सामने आप घास या मांस तो गाय तो घास ही खाएगी, मांस नहीं खाएगी. तो ऐसे ही उनके लिए तो यज्ञ बराबर है, कॉमन है कि मुझे तो घास ही खाना है. हमारे पास है वो, हम मिस यूज करने का चांसेस पूरा. हमारे सामने दोनों डालते जाए तो क्या खाते हैं उसके ऊपर? घास के बदले हम अन्न बोलेंगे. चलो ठीक है, हम घास खा नहीं सकते, तो अन्न या नॉन वेज डालेंगे, तो हमारे ऊपर चॉइस होता है. तो इसीलिए सो इट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट, there are so many forms of life which are present in this world, and they often require different kinds of nourishment. Different forms of life need different kinds of nourishment. So both the life forms and the nourishment were present. So now many of the problems with the reluctance and this atheistic ideology people attitude is that, only those life forms survive, when they have proper food. Others will just get खत्म हो जाते. उनका फूड खत्म हो गया तो वो भी खत्म हो जाते हैं. So that's what they say. Okay, that could be true in some sense, but not completely true. They cannot explain how did the food come from there. For all this life form, where did the food come from? So, and even if we are able to reconstruct, नहीं भाई वहाँ पे बारिश बहुत होती है, वहाँ पे ये होता है, वहाँ पे हाथी 40 मन खाता है, तो उसके लिए बहुत सारे जंगल होने चाहिए, बहुत सारे पेड़ होने चाहिए. तो उसके लिए even if we are able to reconstruct some explanation, some sentences, still the fundamental question would remain. And what is that fundamental question? That, what is the mechanism and who is the creator for all these things? what is the mechanism through which these all will be produced and provided? ये अफ्रीका के जंगलों में इतने हाथी है तो उतने उधर जंगल भी है हाथी को सरवाइव करने के लिए, है ना। केरला में हाथी है तो उधर जंगल भी है सरवाइव करने के लिए। तो ये सब चीजें इन ए प्रॉपर डिजाइन फैशन somebody who is intelligent has created all this. So who is that? Purovāca Prajāpati, the creator of all beings. He has done all this. सब कुछ है ना, बोलते ना हाथी के लिए मण और चींटी के लिए कण सब कुछ अवेलेबल है ना। तो ऐसे ही नहीं अवेलेबल है, कहीं ना कहीं कोई ना कोई सुनियोजित तरीके से दिया गया है। तो हम समझेंगे आगे के श्लोकों में और ये भी क्लियर हो जाएगा ना। तो बिकॉज हम जैसे देवी देवताओं के ऊपर आएंगे सब वो भी सारा क्लियर हो जाएगा। तो कौन रहे? प्रजापति इज सेइंग दिस। सो प्रजापति इज द क्रिएटर, है ना। सो हु इज प्रजापति देन? ओके, सभी लोग दक्ष प्रजापति मत बोल दे है ना। ओके, दक्ष प्रजापति भी एक प्रजापति है, बिकॉज बट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड बट हु इज द ओरिजिनल प्रजापति? कृष्णा, करेक्ट। 14.4 you open. He says that. Sarva Yonishu, yes. Murtaya Sambhavantiya. Mahat Yonir Aham Bija Padapita. All the yonis, all the forms. Retranslation also proof.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father.
Yes, I am the seed-giving father for all these forms of life. Be it a tree, be it a beast, human being, be it anybody. All the 84 lakhs of species. We don't have to debate. Hen came before or, egg came before. We don't have to debate. It is only and only Krishna who says aham bija pradapita, कि मेरा बीज है सब में।
ऐसा जैसे मैंने कई बार कई लोगों से डिस्कशन किया है, तो जनरली बोलती है कि मतलब क्रिएशन इटर्नल है, क्रिएशन हमेशा रहता है।
ओके,
तो उस चीज को कैसे समझना चाहिए? जैसे अभी आप बोल रहे हैं कि कृष्णा अहम बीज प्रदा और प्रजापति का भी एग्जाम्पल दे रहे हैं। कृष्णा क्रिएटेड द क्रिएशन और क्रिएशन इटसेल्फ continue.
See, it's a perpetual thing. It's a perpetual thing. It's a perpetual thing. Creation and annihilation keeps on going. Creation and annihilation keeps on growing. Keeps on going. Like, it is said in Shastras that the moment Vishnu is, leaves his Vayu outside, when he, saas chhodte hain, so many universe gets created with this. And then, when he takes back, the period is so long, he gives one breath out, so many yugas pass through, and then when he pulls back, all those comes back into his thing. So it's a perpetual thing. तो ये सांस लेना और छोड़ना भगवान का तो चालू ही रहा है। So ये तो perpetual है। लेकिन जब ये बात आती है ना कि पहली बार जब वैसे कभी हुआ है ना, तो क्रिएशन, अब जैसे इवन अगर वो सांस अंदर ले लिए तो सब तो उनके पेट में समा गया, जठरे शयनम, है ना। पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम, सब कुछ उनके जठ में चला गया शयन करने के लिए। सारे जीव इंक्लूडिंग ऑल दी मटेरियल, सारी एनर्जी सब कुछ उनके शयन जठ में शयन करने चली गई। और जब वो वापस छोड़ते हैं तो सारी एज इट इज क्रिएट होती है, और फिर वापस उनके ऊपर ग्लांस करते हैं और वापस प्रक्रिया स्टार्ट होती है। इसीलिए हम बीज प्रदपिता, वो ग्लांस के थ्रू सारे जीवों को along with the prakriti, along with he impregnates the Mahad Yonir, Mahad Brahma, right? So he sends his pradhan into the Mahad Tattva, and that is where again the formation starts, and again this thing starts.
That's the Vishwarupa comes later.
Yes, it will come. Yeah. So material nature provides all forms, and Krishna is the seed-giving father. So so हम जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, अब हमारे क्या भगवान
इंसान जैसे लगते हैं।
हाँ, यही तो मम्मी वांशो जीव लोके, अने क्या बोलते हैं, मम्मी वांशो, तुम मेरे अंश हो, मेरे जैसे ही हो, इसलिए तो 2 हाथ का जो कृष्ण का फॉर्म है बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है।
सांस लेना,
हाँ
सांस लेना, सांस छोड़ना, ये इंसानों तक समझ आता है, लिविंग
अरे
को समझ आता है। भगवान को
और उनका
समझ
नहीं नहीं,
आता है।
भगवान का सांस ये तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, भगवान का सांस लेना हमारा सांस लेना बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस है। अरे
हमें तो सर्वाइव करना है, तो सांस लेना है।
ना ना ना,
हमको सांस लेने की क्या जरूरत, मुझे तो ये तो क्या समझ नहीं आ रहा की बात है।
The sans is giving the
या
सांस लेने से इनकी सांस हरकत है।
प्रभु नहीं नहीं, देखो यही बात है कि हम जो जीवात्मा जब बोलते हैं, जीवात्मा एग्जैक्टली भगवान का ही अंश है। 15.7 वही तो बात बोलता है, और हम उनके जैसे ही है।
हम अंश की बात करते हैं तो
हाँ।
हम उनके हाथ पाँव की बात नहीं करते, उनके सांस लेने की बात नहीं करते। हम आत्मा की कभी नहीं बोलते आत्मा सांस लेती है, हम कभी नहीं बोलते।
हाँ
हम कभी नहीं कहते कि आत्मा की जठरा आदमी है, उसके अंदर कुछ पकता है, और कभी बात नहीं करते। लेकिन भगवान आ जाता है तो फिर इंसान का हम पैर करते हैं। तो कभी कभार ऐसा लगता है वो जो कहते हैं ना
हाँ
कि हाकिम ने भगवान को हाथी जैसा देखा, इंसान ने भगवान को आप इंसान
हाँ, तो वो भी एक थियरी है, नो डाउट। हम तो वही बोल रहे हैं, वो भी एक थियरी है। आप जो बोलते हो तो ब्रह्म परमात्मा और भगवान जो 3 अवस्थाएं, उसमें ठीक है, उस अवस्था में सेट होती है, इसीलिए वहां पे आप ब्रह्म में अटक के रह जाते हो। नहीं इट्स ओके, नहीं इट्स ओके, छोड़ो ना प्रभु, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट।
मैं तो वो बात करूं कि जब हम जब अंश की बात करते हैं,
फोन, हाँ ओके,
हम जब अंश की बात करते हैं तो अंश में हम कभी हाथ की बात नहीं करते, कभी पैर की बात नहीं करते। लेकिन जब हम कृष्णा की बात करते हैं तो हाथ पैर ले आते हैं या सांस लेके आते हैं। अगर हम उन्हीं के अंश हैं
हाँ
और आत्मा सांस नहीं लेती, राइट, तो फिर भगवान के सांस लेना, भगवान का सांस छोड़ना, ये
नहीं नहीं, ये अब भगवान की एक्टिविटी कुछ भी हमारे सांस लेने और जैसे हमारी मेटीरियल भौतिक सांस लेने की तरह नहीं होती है प्रभु। वो भी ट्रांसेंडेंटल होती है। जैसे अब बताया ना कि वो भगवान को प्रकृति प्रेग्नेट करने के लिए उनको फिजिकल ये होने की जरूरत नहीं है, उन्होंने खाली नजर से देखा और प्रकृति गर्भस्थ हो गई उनको। हाँ
तो कहीं तो हुई
हाँ, वो क्या, उनको देखना है, उनकी ज्योति निकली और गर्भस्थ हो गई। हाँ तो नहीं नहीं, उनके जो 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 पोर्स निकले हैं, उनके पोर्स से जो ब्रह्मांड निकले हैं, ब्रह्मांड के अंदर ही प्रकृति में, ब्रह्मांड के अंदर उन्होंने दृष्टि मारी और दृष्टि के अंदर सारे जीव को गर्भस्थ कर दिया, तो वो प्रेग्नेंट हो गए, ओके नहीं। लेकिन वो वहां तक भी प्रेग्नेंट होके, उसमें जीव जब तक नहीं आया, जब तक वे खुद उसमें एक्सपैंड होके गर्भोदक्षाई विष्णु के रूप में एंटर नहीं किए। फिर सारे जब जीव प्रकट हुए तो फिर वापस एक्सपैंड हो गए एक क्षीरोदक्षाई विष्णु के रूप में। हर एक जीव में जब प्रकट होते हैं तब जाके चेतना आती है। तो भगवान तो चेतन है प्रभु, हम अचेतन है। और भगवान को जैसे ब्रह्मा जी को जन्म देना था तो उनको ऐसा कुछ जरूरी नहीं था, उन्होंने जस्ट पेट में से कमल नाल निकाला और उसके ऊपर प्रकट कर दिया। तो उनके लिए कुछ भी पॉसिबल नहीं है प्रभु। तो उनका जो सब कुछ है वो दिव्य, इसीलिए ट्रांसेंडेंटल बोलते हैं। इन 3 गुणों से ऊपर है, आपको अचिंत्य इसीलिए बोलते हैं ना, कभी कभी अचिंत्य। यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू एग्जैक्टली कोरिलेट because that apparatus doesn't match. We are trying to fit in everything through our material apparatus, and spiritual apparatus are always different. So that's where अहम बीज प्रजापिता, ठीक है, उसके ऊपर अनेन प्रसविश्यध्वम, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। यू बिकम मोर एंड मोर prosperous by performing these yajñas. So he is giving a methodology now. तो बी दऊ बोल के प्रभुपाद ने कोट किया ना, जो एश वो इṣṭa-kāma-dhuk is the word, a kind of this thing which is given by them. So we have to understand why Krishna is speaking this shlok here. Go and enjoy. Go become, you become prosperous. आराम से prosperous बनो. So why? Because वही हम लोग हमारे इच्छाएं पूर्ति करने के लिए. That's why Srila Prabhupada starts with a very strong point that, the material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned souls, both humans and Devi Devatas, to come back to him, back to Godhead. That's why he opens the purport. He opens the purport with that message that, हम बोलते हैं हम क्यों आए हैं भाई, हम आए कई रीजन है, बट हम यहाँ से जाएंगे तो पुनः नहीं आएंगे, ये भी भगवत गीता बोलती है। हम क्यों आए इसका ये झलक कृष्णा आज हमको इस श्लोक में देते हैं। सो कृष्णा इज डिस्कसिंग हियर अबाउट क्रिएशन, प्रजा, यज्ञ, द यूजर मैनुअल, एंड इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द मैकेनिज्म थ्रू विच वन कैन रीच बैक टू हिम। एंड ही स्टेट्स दैट everything is ultimately being provided by his arrangement. iṣṭa-kāma-dhuk. So let this be your desire fulfilling cow. ये तुम्हारी मनोकामनाएं पूर्ण करने के लिए आपको एक कामधेनु दे रहा हूं, ऐसे है ना. तो we have to understand this. How yajna can be a desire fulfilling cow and what does it actually mean? यज्ञ किस प्रकार हमारे desire fulfilling कर सकते हैं? So understand that we have to understand the principle behind that desire fulfilling cow. You have to understand the desire fulfilling cow. What does that term mean? Kāma-dhuk. What does it mean in general and in particularly in this present context? In this present context, because it is being discussed as karma kanda, that you reap the results. The cow, in Vedic life, it's a sacred animal, Vedic culture, and it is very dear to Krishna. हम सब कुछ बोल सकते हैं. गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च उनका फेवरेट ये है. और वह like पोषण करती है, माँ कहलाती है, गौ माता इसीलिए हम कहते हैं. So just like mother feeds the baby, the cow also feeds the human, with the milk, and that is where exactly. So and Krishna loves cows, and if you are loving Krishna, then you will also love cow. That is in general. So naturally, the Vedic culture is centered around the cow. So it's a special being, of course. Okay. But going back to history, there were very potent cows which are presently not available. Okay, there were very potent cows known as Kāmadhenus. Okay, there were very potent cows named as Kāmadhenus. So now, whatever we desired could come through them. So now we have read an example in, Ramayana, right? In the Vasishtha Muni had this Kāmadhenu. Okay, and Vishwamitra, he was a king then. He came to Vasishtha ashram along with his all men, all the soldiers and everything. And this Kāmadhenu cow was feeding everybody, all the soldiers, everybody. And then that thing, Vishwamitra got astonished. And it is so, I have come with so many soldiers to his ashram, and every day he's feeding so nicely to everybody. And he has this Kāmadhenu, which even I don't have, So, and that is making it so easily that, which for me, it sometimes is difficult. मैं इतने लोगों को खाना लेके चलना, बना के चलना, and it is so difficult. इन सबको इतना पालन पोषण करना, whereas a कामधेनु अकेली सबको कर दे रही है. So he wanted to, he wanted that cow. So he asked Vasishtha, by hook or crook, he wanted that cow. So he felt impressed and he wanted to grab it from Vasishtha. And Vasishtha did not stop. But the cow became distressed. There's quite a lot of story. I'm just cutting it short. The cow became distressed and it asked Vasishtha that, why are you allowing me to go? Have I not served you well? But Vasishtha said, no, don't tell about that. You have served me so well, but he is the king. I cannot stop a king from his duties. Now he wants you and I cannot revolt and say no to him. Then Kāmadhenu says, if you cannot protect me from the king, can you give me permission so that I myself will protect myself? He said, yeah, you are at your liberty to protect. And then that Kāmadhenu produces from its own body a set of army which actually, flees away the entire Vishwamitra's army. अपने ही बॉडी से निकाल के सारे सैनिकों के साथ युद्ध करके उनको वहां से भगा देती है. तो स्पेशल काउंट ऑफ काउ, जो आप बोलो मेरे को 10,000 लोगों के लिए खाना तैयार करना है, वो प्रोवाइड करेगी ना. अक्षय पात्रा, देयर वर यूटेंसिल्स लाइक अक्षय पात्रा. So similarly, Kāmadhenu, there were special kinds of cow, so which today do not exist. Of course, today's logical and skeptical mind, people will consider this to be a mythological imagination. But we have to believe that, Ramayana and Mahabharata comes under our itihas. They are not mythological. They come under itihas. So we don't know exactly how things nature produces, but the creator knows it. So they were existing. So we try to replicate it, with some kind of mysterious element and though entirely not mystical, but we try to relate it with mystical and then say it as a mythology. So Einstein also says, about the mystery. He says, there are two ways for looking at this world: to see everything as a miracle, or say everything has a miracle. Einstein says this: to look everything as a miracle, or say everything as a miracle. So that way, it's very miraculous that a mud from the ground can be converted to mangoes, and the grass from the ground can be converted to milk. It is miraculous only, right? हमने मट्टी में एक बीज डाला, पेड़ आके इतने आम आते, मीठे आते, मीन्स लाइक जो भी है, करेला भी आता है, मीन्स लाइक हर एक चीज की प्रकृति के हिसाब से, और वही ग्राउंड घास गाय खा के आपको जो है सो मिल्क में कन्वर्ट करती है. सो these are all inconceivable ability of the God when God empowers certain beings. तो कामधेनु को भगवान ने एम्पावर किया हुआ है कि तुम्हारी डिजायर्स फुलफिल कर सके. So it is the inconceivable ability of the God that he empowers certain things, all Devi Devatas or Kamadhenus, so for certain functions, and those beings do those functions. And still the fact that they do those functions is still amazing, right? When we think with an open mind and let not that familiarity take the mystery out of it. When not take the familiarity mystery out of it. See, just because something, okay, आम उगे जा रहे हैं और गाय दूध प्रोड्यूस करे जा रही है, तो ये चीज एक आश्चर्य की तरह लगती है हमको, लेकिन रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में हम देखेंगे भाई ये कोई आश्चर्य नहीं है, तो होता है, परंतु इसके पीछे कहीं ना कहीं तो आश्चर्य है, छुपा है. वो क्रिएटर का सुनियोजित तरीका है, उसका मैकेनिज्म है. सो यज्ञ भी
जब तक नहीं पता तब तक आश्चर्य है,
तो ये इसलिए तो आइंस्टाइन का मैंने कोट किया. हाँ, तो यही तो है ना, इसीलिए. हाँ, तो ये यज्ञ भी सिमिलरली कामधुक की तरह है. यज्ञ में भी आज हम बोलते हैं भाई हम ये यज्ञ कर रहे हैं, पुत्र कामेष्टि की यज्ञ, तो दशरथ महाराज ने किया था, उनको तो मिला, बट हम करते हैं, हमको मिलेगा कोई गारंटी नहीं है, क्योंकि आपके पास वो पंडित नहीं है, वो सामग्री नहीं है. तो वो माता जी एक सारी चीजें है ना, सारी चीजों के ऊपर डिपेंड कर रहे हैं, और ज्ञान भी तो पूरा होना चाहिए. मंत्र सिद्ध होने वाला तो मैं नहीं बोलता हूँ सिद्ध लोग है, पूरे सिद्ध लोग नहीं है. ओके, सिद्ध लोग कई लोगों ने कुछ सिद्धि हासिल करी भी लोग है, आज भी मिलते हैं आपको, बट हाँ, ऐसे जैसे कोई ये स्पेशल देवी देवता टाइप वाली सिद्धि ओके होते होंगे, पर बहुत कम. ओके, बहुत कम. तो वी कैन नॉट, अगर वो होते भी है तो हम लोगों के लिए तो वही हो जाता है कि हम रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में देखते हैं, तो हम उनको जैसे बोलते हैं ना, लक्ष्मी जी आज हमारे बाजू आके बैठ भी जाए तो हम उनको क्या सोचेंगे, कोई ड्रामा क्वीन आके बैठ गई है. अब कोई इतना सोना वोना पहन के आके बैठ जाएगी तो हम बोलेंगे कोई ड्रामा क्वीन आके बैठ गई. लक्ष्मी जी है बोल के हम पहचान नहीं पाएंगे.
कई लोग तो पप्पी लड़ी समझते
so yajna bhi is, so when we yajna, so when we do yajna, that is the means by which we please Lord Vishnu, and he is the fulfiller of desires. We have to understand that way. When we do yajna for the purpose of Vishnu, that's what we ended up last look. So when we do yajna for the purpose of Vishnu, he is the one who is fulfiller of desires. He is the one who is fulfiller of desires. If you don't do it to Vishnu, okay, you just leave it to Devi Devatas. Okay, you can do karma for any Devi Devatas also. You leave it to any Devi Devatas, karma bandhana will straight away apply. Because yajna arthat karmano anyatra, it will become. If you have not ended up with Vishnu, that's why in all puja paddhatis you do, चाहे कोई भी देवी देवताओं की पूजा लो आप, अंत में जाके वही होता है, नारायणायेति समर्पयामि, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हाँ, वही होता है, केशवाय नमः माधवाय नमः, कोई सारा. तो कहने का मतलब है कि स्टार्ट एंड वी डू इट विद विष्णु, बट वी डोंट रियलाइज इट एंड वी वांट ओनली, हमारा मन वहीं पे अटका हुआ रहता है कि हमने ये पर्पस के लिए किया, वो पर्पस मिल जाना चाहिए. वो पर्पस फुलफिल हो जाएगा तो आप कुछ करो वापस, तो नहीं तो आप चोर कहलाओगे. अगले श्लोक में आ जाएगा, लेकिन आप चोर कहलाओगे. तो so this is where exactly, so when we please him through the performance of yajna, and then that mechanism which is being created for human beings to activate that higher powers with the higher beings, and the ultimate highest being, the Vishnu, that arrangement comes into picture, so when you do it for Vishnu, आप यज्ञ करते हो तो आप पहले आपने इंद्र के लिए यज्ञ किया, इंद्र से आपने आहुति दे दी, चंद्र के लिए दे दी, सबके लिए दे दी, सो आप उनसे कनेक्ट होके you are trying to get some kind of higher power, and some kind of activate some kind of spirituality with the higher power, but ultimately understand these are the, अगले श्लोक में आएगा कि ये लोग पूरे मेरे कार्यकर्ता, अगले इसमें आ जाएगा, वो बोलेंगे ये सारे देवी देवता, आप आपस में तालमेल तो रखोगे, but ultimately they are also in turn again give it to Lord Vishnu. This is the arrangement which happens. So the key thing to recognize here is that we have to, in all our, we go back to our work, we started off with this chapter with so we have to do our work, but we have to do it in the form of sacrifice. So of course I said we'll deal with sacrifices separately, because going forward we'll deal with sacrifices, and this is the whole subtle mechanism that is being created by which we can actually learn to acquire higher truth and gain access to our necessities through that mechanism of yajna. अब आपने पूजा की, पूजा की, वो भी यज्ञ में आएगा, कोई पर्टिकुलर इसके लिए, जैसे कोई लोग करते हैं वैभव लक्ष्मी की पूजा करते हैं, कोई संतान उत्पत्ति के लिए करते हैं, कोई लोग शादी के लिए करते हैं, कई प्रकार की पूजाएं, यज्ञ विधि सारी बताई गई है. So you ultimately, those necessities comes into picture through the mechanism of that yajna. So a living entity within this material creation is conditioned because of the material nature, and because of his forgetfulness with relationship with Vishnu or Krishna. This is where this Vedic principles comes in. Like you start off with karma kanda, you are into animal life, you have forgot your relationship with Krishna, you start off with karma kanda, start getting closer to the Devi Devatas, at least for their purpose, you end dovetail to Vishnu, some part of bhakti you start accumulating, and this is where exactly, and then you will come to know the purpose, that is Vedescha Sarveraham Avivedya, what Prabhupada has quoted in today's Tatparya. So, it comes in a picture, in a mechanism which is, slowly it diverts you. So, this is where Karma Kanda takes you to Karma Yoga, if you have dovetailed it to Vishnu. If you have forgotten Vishnu, then Karma Kanda will remain Karma Kanda. You will reap the results and you will again take the bondage also.
But why it is like?
No, that is where exactly, it's a stages, no Prabhu. Now, Krishna has come back to the lowest rung now. Animal life से आपको कर्म कांड पे ला रहा है, तो आपको तो ये समझाएगा ही ना, और फिर आगे चलते चलते और करेगा.
Like when we talk about the we are talking sacrifice.
Yes.
To free from the duality and being the God.
Yes.
So this is what we are being taught.
Yes.
But in the other hand, like we come to know that if we have our desire, so we can also do yajna to fulfill our desire.
No, that is where I started off the class. No, I said, first thing is, if you are not able to relinquish, Krishna has started speaking with Karma Kanda. So bring you to that level. इसलिए वो योगा लैडर डिस्कस किया था. एक तो आपको कर्म योग बता ही दिया स्ट्रेट अवे कि आपको relinquish करते हुए सब काम करना है. But if you are not able to do, if you are too materialistic, you cannot relinquish. I have to do it for myself. Okay, do it as per the principles. Do yajnas for the purpose of Vishnu. यहाँ से शुरू करके धीरे धीरे और ऊपर जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि हमने तो ये सेकंड चैप्टर में पूरा समरी समझ लिया, इसलिए अपने को थोड़ा वापस बैक स्कूल में गए वैसा लगेगा. बट दिस इज व्हाट इज द फैक्ट.
My question is something. Do something for the purpose of Vishnu, then there is no need to do anything.
Exactly. You will come to know. आगे चल के वो भी क्लियर हो जाएगा.
but why God is also saying like if you have any desires to fulfill, do yajna?
Because you came into this material world with the purpose of desires world. And you understand that now, okay, I understand that. Now I don't want to have any desires. Then you go back to him. Simple. You came into this material world. That is where exactly prajāḥ purovāca prajāpatiḥ. एश वस्तु इṣṭa-kāma-dhuk, you fulfill your desires. जो desires, जो materialistic लोग हैं वो क्या करेंगे? हमारी डिजायर्स पूरी करना है। मैं 1 BHK से 2 BHK जाऊं, एसी से बड़ा एसी लूं, गाड़ी लूं, बंगला लूं, करो, वैदिक प्रिंसिपल्स को लेते हुए करो। Yes.
Try to perform a prescriptivity what is being
Yeah,
instructed by the Vedas.
Yeah.
But from the spiritual side, like there are two things.
That's where Karma Kanda said. When Karma Kanda comes in, the spiritual side reduces and your personal gain starts. But in that also do it religiously so that purification starts. That is what it is, the knowledge is. आपने तो हाईएस्ट नॉलेज गेन कर ली, ओके, इसलिए आपको ये छोटी लगती है, बट कर्म योगा है ना, अब तो ये चैप्टर ही पूरा वही है, सो इट विल स्टार्ट। सो अभी तक आपको बोल दिया मेरे हिसाब से निष्काम कर्म करो, कृष्ण ने बोल दिया, बट आप नहीं कर सकते तो उन्होंने पूरा चैप्टर तो एक्सप्लेन करना है ना, उसी हिसाब से नीचे तक जाके फिर ऊपर आएंगे। सो इसमें प्रोग्रेसिव योगा लैडर सिखा रहे हैं कि भाई ये करो बट डाउटेल करो।
You are trying to say that this is the procedure to get attracted.
Yes, exactly. Now we got attracted in similar way. We are also materialistic people. This is how people come to spirituality also. At a respective stage, you may be at Karma Kanda stage, other may be at Nishkam stage, other may be at Dhyana stage, all different. We will go to the extended ladder also up to chapter 6. Don't worry. Okay. I am there or not there, but then that's a different issue. Whatever. So that is where, so इसलिए शिला प्रभुपाद इसमें बहुत ये मैं कह रहा हूँ, इसलिए सारे ये मतलब इसलिए वेदेश सर्वे हम वेदियों की इसलिए कृष्ण कह रहे हैं। और एक और जो पतिम विश्वेश्वरात्मनम कह रहे हैं, देयरफॉर द लॉर्ड ऑफ लिविंग एंटिटीज इज द सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड एंड विष्णु। एंड अगेन आगे प्रभुपाद कोट्स वन मोर दिस थिंग, ताकि ये न रहे कि प्रजापति के ऊपर किसी को डाउट न रहे, क्योंकि प्रजापति का आप कॉन्सेप्ट समझ लो कि पहला प्रजापति जो प्रजा को क्रिएट किया, बाद में ब्रह्मा जी ने सेकेंडरी क्रिएशन किया, है ना, जब भागवतम आता है तो स्वर्ग सॉरी, तो ब्रह्मा जी एक और प्रजापति हुए, फिर ब्रह्मा जी ने पहले शिव जी को दिया था, फिर बाद में मीन्स अनेक 4 कुमार हुए, सबने मना कर दिया, फिर अंत में प्रजापति दक्ष प्रजापति को रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी कि तुम अनेक जीवों को ये करो, तो उन्होंने ये की, तो दक्ष प्रजापति फिर प्रजापति बने। प्रजापति अर्थात वो जो आगे और अपने प्रजा को चला रहा है ना। अब हम जब अपने गोत्र लेते हैं तो हम क्या करते हैं, वी गो बैक टू दैट ऋषि कि हमारी प्रजा वहां से शुरू हुई है और हमारी दीक्षा वहां से शुरू हुई है, and our lineage, you know, that particular thing we recollect and we go back there. That is where Srila Prabhupada again quotes this Bhagavatam shlok, Shriya Patir, Yajña Patir, Prajapatir, Dhiya Patir. So where he says, Shriya Pati, Lakshmi के पति कृष्ण, हाँ स्वयं, है ना, माधव हमने पढ़ा भी था। फिर सारे यज्ञों के पति भगवान, क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम वी टुक विष्णु सहस्त्रनाम के श्लोक लिए थे हमने। प्रजापति इज ऑल्सो स्वयं कृष्ण। सो हियर इट मीन्स अगेन ये भागवतम मेक्स इट क्लियर, प्रजापति स्वयं पहले प्रजापति स्वयं कृष्ण है। धीयपति यानी बुद्धि के पति, वो भी कृष्ण है। ददा भी बुद्धि योगम तम आगे चल के कृष्ण बताएंगे। फिर लोकपति, सारे लोकों के पति भी कृष्ण है ना, क्योंकि भूदेवी के भी पति कौन है, विष्णु, वही वो मीन्स लाइक अपने वरादेव है ना, वरादेव। सो लोकपति, धरापति, धरा इस पृथ्वी, लोक 14 लोकों के पति, और धरा इस पृथ्वी, अंधक और वृष्णि सात्वतम, यानी ये जो सारे गोकुल वृंदावन के जो कुल है, अंधक वृष्णि ये सब इवन गोकुल वृंदावन के इनके भी पति स्वयं कृष्ण है। इसलिए सारी गोपियां इसलिए उनकी पत्नी हैं। और ये कह रहे हैं हम सब ये इनको अगर करते तो हम सब प्रसन्न हो। ये कह रहे हैं कि आप वे हमसे प्रसन्न हो, ऐसा वो श्लोक में कोट करके बता रहे हैं। तो स्वयं प्रजापति स्वयं भगवान ही है। सो व्हेन वी परफॉर्म अ पर्टिकुलर यज्ञ और पूजा पद्धति इन ए पर्टिकुलर फॉर ए पर्टिकुलर देवता और फॉर पर्टिकुलर पर्पस, then that purpose is fulfilled by the higher arrangement or the universal law of Vishnu. Okay, and how we can understand this higher arrangement going forward, 5-6 श्लोक है, we'll understand, because you know ये नहीं करते होता मीन्स देवी देवताओं को इतना सब कुछ दिए, हम नहीं देते तो चोर है, और अन्न ऐसा उगता है, आप यज्ञ करते हो तो अन्न उगेगा, ऐसा आगे चलते चलते मीन्स सारे थोड़े श्लोक्स के हिसाब से वो आपको ये हायर अंडरस्टैंडिंग का सारा क्लियर हो जाएगा। तो माता जी समरी फिर यही है कि मनुष्य देवता उनके लिए यज्ञ हाँ, मनुष्यों और देवताओं को सबके लिए यज्ञ एक साथ रचकर भगवान ने आदेश दिया कि तुम इस भौतिक जगत में जा रहे हो, अपनी इच्छाओं को पूर्ति करो। ओके, तुम अपनी इच्छाएं पूर्ति करो, तृप्ति करके आप मोक्ष की प्राप्ति के लिए जो भी वस्तुएं मैंने आपको दी है उनको एंजॉय करो और मेरे पास आ जाओ। सो मुख्य समझने की बात यही है कि सारे वस्तुएं हमारे भौतिक प्रयासों से नहीं बल्कि भगवान के सुनियोजित प्रबंधन यानी कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से चलती है। भगवान के सुनियोजित प्रबंधन से चलती है। अगले श्लोक में आ जाएगा भाई, इट इज नॉट ऑल बाई चांस, इट इज ऑल दी अरेंजमेंट। जैसे हम बोलते गवर्नमेंट चल रही है, गवर्नमेंट का अरेंजमेंट है तब चलती है, तो वैसे ही भगवान का भी गवर्नमेंट है और वो उस हिसाब से, क्योंकि हम लोग अभी समझते थे देवी देवता है, बट ये देवी देवता भगवान के कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर अगले श्लोक में क्लियर हो जाएगा। तो उनके सुनियोजित एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के अनुसार चलती है और भगवान का प्रबंधन, दैट इज भगवान की योजना के अनुसार यज्ञ करना बहुत आवश्यक है। हाँ, और उस वह आवश्यक है और वह सुख सुविधाएं तब जो ऐसा में सुख सुविधाएं सहज मात्रा में प्राप्त हो सकती है। जैसे एग्जाम्पल इधर ले सकते हैं हम, क्या जैसे कोई बिजली विभाग में यदि कोई लाइट मिलती है, हमको मालूम कि एक सुख सुविधा है ना लाइट की, तो यदि बिजली विभाग को हम अगर कर नहीं दे तो बिजली आके वे कट कर देंगे, है ना। प्रभु बता रहे थे लास्ट टाइम कि उनके नाम से मीटर ट्रांसफर नहीं हुआ तो कट कर दिया, पूरा प्रभु फ्लाइट से आए बोले पीछे कट कर दिया। तो आज अभिषेक प्रभु आजकल आजकल बोले कि सारा अपने इकामा में लगता है इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मीटर, मेरा नहीं है अभी तक। फिर भी मेरा तो कटा नहीं, लेकिन प्रभु बोल रहे थे मेरा कट गया।
वो किसी के इकामा पे होगा, उसने कटवाया
ओनर के इसमें था मेरे
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेते हो तो आपके नाम का
नहीं हुआ, मेरा तो ओनर के नाम पे चला अभी तक 3 साल से।
प्रभु को बिजली की जरूरत नहीं,
प्रकाश इतना है।
नहीं कराया।
तो ये प्रबंधन के हिसाब से चलता है, तो सब कुछ, तो उसके अंदर ये बहुत जरूरी है, हमें शास्त्र विधि के अनुसार यज्ञ करना चाहिए जिसमें 5 नियम होते हैं, और यदि हम वो करते हैं तो हम कर्म बंधन से मुक्त होते हैं, अन्यथा हमें कर्म बंधन लगता है और हम फिर इस धरा में अटके हुए रहते हैं। हरे कृष्णा। तो अब ये शुरू होने वाला है, क्या बोलते हैं अपने पुरुषोत्तम मास शुरू होने वाला है, तो मैं बोला अपने को पुरुषोत्तम मास के लिए मैंने ग्रुप में वो दिया था, यू कैन ओपन अप डॉक्यूमेंट्स, और उसमें सो 3 चीजें बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज सी ये महीना इट्स मोर पोटेंट देन दामोदर महीना। दामोदर महीना यदि अन्य महीनों में 100 गुना अधिक महत्वपूर्ण होता है।
All these things, Prabhu, gets very, very complicated.
ना प्रभु, it is giving your chance.
This looks like a management tactics, sales tactics.
Even okay, प्रभु, when you want to sell your product, you sell it by doing so much of advertisement, okay? But when God, for our purpose, had given this particular thing, and if you do not want to use that, then it is to, we have to do advertisement, right? दामोदर में भी यही बोलते हैं ना कि बाकी लोग करो नहीं करो, इस्कॉन वाले तो ये प्रचार जोरों शोरों से करते हैं। तो वैसा ही ना सुनो प्रभु,
लोग को ऐसा मटेरियली नहीं सेल करना है, इसको करना
नहीं, मटेरियली सेल की बात नहीं है प्रभु, ये so that we make use of this opportunity. This is going to start 3 things you do daily basis. 3 things ही करना है आपने, जो आप करते हो, ऐसी बात नहीं है। एक तो करते ही हो, आप दीपदान करते ही हो, डेली दीपक दिखाते हो, हर व्यक्ति को दिखाना चाहिए, ओके? दामोदर में जैसे दिखाते हो, हर व्यक्ति को दीपदान दिखाना चाहिए कृष्ण को, ओके? और दूसरा, अब आरती उस समय दामोदर अष्टकम गाते, इस बार चौराष्टकम गाना चाहिए, ओके? और दीपदान के साथ चौराष्टकम गाना चाहिए। फिर 15वां अध्याय डेली पढ़ना चाहिए। पुरुषोत्तम योग है तो भगवद गीता के श्लोक ही पढ़ना है ना हमको, तो मीन्स डेली भगवद गीता का 15वां अध्याय पढ़ेंगे तो हम वैदिक श्लोक ही कोट कर रहे हैं, वैदिक श्लोक कर रहे हैं जो हमारे प्यूरिफिकेशन के लिए। सो डेली रीड चैप्टर 15 this Chaurashtakam. It is hard in the starting, but going forward, as Damodar Ashtakam had become easy for you all, if this comes once in 3 years, that's why it is looks sometimes hard. But you can do that. So ये opportunity है कि जैसे अभी है ना कि माइंड को और इसको बुद्धि को भगवान की सेवा में लगाए रखने को ये ऑप्शन भगवान प्रदान कर रहे हैं, जिसके बारे में यदि हम जानते हैं और नहीं बोलते हैं तो गड़बड़ है. इट इज ओनली फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्पस. हाँ,
थोड़ा मुझे इसको समझना, लास्ट में आपने कहा था कि ये पुरुषोत्तम मास भगवान ने ऐड किया है,
हाँ.
पर मुझे थोड़ी बात समझ नहीं आई क्योंकि सन मून को देख के और
नहीं सन मून को देख,
पता नहीं
सन और मून के मूवमेंट्स अलग अलग है. ओके, मून का मूवमेंट एक 13 डिग्री कम पे वो अपना सर्कल पूरा करता है, उसका जो पाथ है. ओके, इसके वजह से वो घटता बढ़ता है एवरी डे. ओके, एंड वो 365 के बदले 355 दिन में वो एक साल अपना कंप्लीट कर लेता है. ओके, रोटेशन. ओके, और ये सूर्य देव 365 दिन में अपना करते हैं. हाँ,
वो मैं समझ आ गई. ये तो साइंस है ना, साइंस ने इस चीज को एडजस्ट करने के लिए
अगले बार साइंस और स्पिरिचुअलिटी दोनों ही बात डिस्कस करूंगा.
हाँ,
जब देवी देवता की बात आएगी तब. हाँ, तो
साइंस ने टाइम एडजस्ट करने के लिए एक मंथ ऐड कर ले ताकि ये सब.
आज आप बोल रहे हो साइंस, लेकिन ये चीज आप वैदिक काल में जाओ ना, वहां पे क्या साइंस था जो मैं सॉरी आज साइंटिस्ट की बात आप आज कर रहे हो, लेकिन ये वैदिक काल में जाओ, हमारे ऋषि मुनि ने बहुत कुछ पहले ही बता दिया है. हाँ,
साइंस का मतलब ये ना, ये साइंस.
हाँ, बस वही ठीक है.
साइंस ही है.
ठीक है, तो फिर
हाँ.
ये साइंस ही है. तो एग्जैक्टली तो इसी.
ऋषि मुनि,
हाँ, चलो,
ऋषि मुनि ने ये मंथ ऐड किया ताकि गति बिल्कुल सही चले और जितना
हाँ, तो ये तो
आपने कहा था कि भगवान ने ऐड किया ये मंथ.
नहीं, भगवान ने अपना नाम दे दिया, क्योंकि ये मंथ एक्स्ट्रा मंथ था, इसको मल मास. नहीं, ऋषि मुनि ने नहीं, ये मल मास के नाम से जाना जाता था. मल मास अर्थात मल का तो मीनिंग आप जानते हो, कचरा.
हाँ.
है ना, तो मल मास के नाम से जाना जाता था. दैट इज नॉट एन ऑस्पिशियस थिंग. बट तो अब ये जो होता है ना कि तो ये जो मास था, ये जो मंथ था, क्योंकि हर मंथ का नाम होता है, एक अधिष्ठात्री होते हैं, हमने ये भी बोला था दामोदर के टाइम में. तो ये मास की जो देवी है वो गई कृष्ण के पास कि भाई हर कोई.
ये थोड़ा समझ नहीं आई, तो मेरे को लगी कि वो कैसे गई कृष्ण के पास, ये मुझे थोड़ा दिन समझ नहीं आया था कि वो कैसे गई.
अब धरती माता कृष्ण के पास, अगर धरती माता ब्रह्मा जी के पास कैसे गई, भी बहुत सारी हो गए. हाँ, तो
समझ नहीं आ रहा.
सो
ये ऋषि मुनि ने नाम के समझ आता है क्योंकि ऋषि ने इस को समझने के लिए एक मंथ को ऐड किया ताकि गति बिल्कुल
मल मास दिया. तो मल मास में लोग कोई भी शुभ कार्य करते नहीं थे, सब कुछ वर्जित हो जाता है. तब कृष्ण ने नाम बोला कि भाई आज से तुम मेरी शरण में आई हो तो मेरी पत्नी होगी. ओके, और आज से तुम्हारा नाम मेरे नाम से जुड़ जाएगा, अर्थात पुरुषोत्तम मास. तब जैसे मैंने इसलिए लास्ट क्लास में बोला था कि कोई भी चीज जब कृष्ण से कनेक्ट हो जाती है तो वह भी ट्रांसेंडेंटल हो जाती है, और जैसे ही कृष्ण से कनेक्ट हो जाती है तो ट्रांसेंडेंटल हो जाती है, तो सारे फायदे कृष्ण उसमें भर देते हैं. तो इसीलिए थोड़ा ज्यादा पोटेंट हो जाता है, और कुछ नहीं. अब यही बात होता है कि शास्त्र की विधि, अब आप हमको ये नॉर्मल रूटीन में ऐसा लगता है भी ठीक है 365 दिन है, 10 दिन मिला के ये अधिक मास आ जाता है. बट कृष्ण ने इसमें इतना जो बोलते हैं ना, हमारे भक्ति को बढ़ाने के लिए जो 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 सीढ़ी दी होती है ना कि एक पर्टिकुलर ब्रिम तक भक्ति हमारी बढ़े, वो जब दी होती है, तो ये ऐसे जब मंथ आते हैं, दामोदर मंथ या ये मंथ, उसके अंदर उछाल आता है.
वो इसीलिए मुझे समझ आती है कि ऋषि मुनि जान मुझे करते हैं ताकि आप लोग, जैसा होता है ना रमजान का महीना क्या है, 9-11 महीना कुछ नहीं करते, एटलीस्ट एक मंथ तो आप भगवान का नाम लेते हो.
करेक्ट है.
सिमिलरली ये भी समझ आता है कि पुरुषोत्तम महीना शायद इसीलिए नाम देते ऋषि मुनि. और मैं मेरे ध्यान में ऋषि मुनि कि भाई सारा साल तो कुछ नहीं कर रहे, 3 साल तक कुछ नहीं किया, एटलीस्ट एक महीने में आप बहुत कुछ करोगे तो.
दुर्वासा मैंने वही लिखा है. देखो, मैंने 2-4 कोट्स डाले थे, वो पढ़ लेना उसमें कि उसमें कृष्णा क्या बोलते हैं, दुर्वासा मुनि क्या बोलते हैं, वाल्मीकि मुनि क्या बोलते हैं, नारद मुनि क्या बोलते हैं, ये मैंने उसमें दिया. नैमिषारण्य के मुनि क्या बोलते हैं इस महीने के बारे में, ये सारे. और अंत में मैंने जयप्रकाश महाराज का भी कोट डाला है. ऐसा करके मैंने शुरुआत में ग्लोरीज ऑफ पुरुषोत्तम मंथ बोल के फर्स्ट पेज पे मैंने वो दिया है. ओके, उसके बाद में मैंने बहुत कुछ दिया. आप आपके ऊपर है, जितना आप पढ़ सकते हो वो है. बट ये 3 चीजें कीजिए: चौराष्टकम, दीपदान, 15वां अध्याय, और नंद नंदनाष्टकम, विच इज ऑल्सो कृष्णाष्टकम. तो हम लोग यहीं पे बैठे बैठे 15वां अध्याय पढ़ लेते हैं, और क्योंकि दैट्स वेरी मीन्स 15वां अध्याय पढ़ लेते हैं, 5 मिनट में हो जाएगा, एंड देन वी कैन डू दीपदान एंड वील हैव प्रसादम. ओके. सो 15वां अध्याय पढ़ते हैं। आप डेली सेकंड थर्ड कुछ पढ़ते हो प्रभु, आज 15वां पढ़ लेते हैं। आज आपने पढ़ा नहीं। हाँ तो वही आज 15वां पढ़ लेते हैं। श्री भगवान उवाच 15 चैप्टर। ओके, श्री भगवान कंटिन्यूस, विल रीड टुगेदर ओनली। श्री ऊर्ध्वमूलम् अधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अधश्वचो स्वां प्रसुतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवाला अधश्वमूलां यनुसन्ततानि कर्माणुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येह ततोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चार्देन सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् अशङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा तत्पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूय तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यत प्रवृत्ति प्रसुता पुराणी निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्म नित्या विनिवृत्त कामा द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ता सुख दुःख संगैर् गच्छन्त मूढा पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावक यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूत सनातन मम षष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यद्मवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वर गृह्यत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धविभाषयात् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तस्थितं वापि भुञ्जानां वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा यतन्तो योगिनश्चैवं पश्यत्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तो यपकृत्यात्मानो नैवं पश्यन्त्यचेतसा गतं तेजं जगद्भासते अखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नो तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वा सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मका अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रिता प्राणापानसमायुक्ता पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधं सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानपपोहनं च वेदेश सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेहताहं द्वाविमो पुरुषो लोके क्षरक्षाक्षरमेव च सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तम पुरुषस्त्वन्य परमात्मेत्युदारत यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्ति अव्यय ईश्वर यस्मादक्षरतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तम अतोऽस्मि लोकवेदे च प्रथित पुरुषोत्तम यो मामेव सम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदं मुक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्धा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत हरि ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्म विद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे पुरुषोत्तम योगो नाम पंचदशोऽध्यायः।
ये देखो, ये भी उस दिन मैं आपको बोल रहा था, इसमें भी आत्मा को पुरुष कहा गया। को स्पेसिफिकली कहा गया है कि दो पुरुष है, उत्तम पुरुष हुआ है वो सही बात है, लेकिन आत्मा पुरुष नहीं है, ये क्यों गलत है? पुरुषों लोग क्षर है, क्षर और अक्षर दोनों भी पुरुष है।
हाँ बट शर वो जो ऑलवेज उनके नित्य उनके लोक में है और
भी पुरुष ही है लोग।
ठीक है,
पुरुषों लोग।
यस करेक्ट। हम एज ए आत्मा सच्चिदानंद है, वहां पे आप नहीं आओगे, वहां पे आप नहीं मानोगे फिर सच्चिदानंद। ठीक है फिर, ओके फिर ठीक है। Sri Nandananda Ashtakam also will read and we go and read that. Okay. सुचारुवक्त्रमण्डलं सुकर्णरत्नकुण्डलं सुचर्चिताङ्गचन्दनं नमामि नन्दनन्दन सुदीर्घनेत्रपङ्कजं शिखिशिखण्डमूर्ध्वज अनङ्गकोटिमोहनं नमामि नन्दनन्दन सुनासिकाग्रमौक्तिकं स्वच्छन्ददन्तपन्तिकं नवाम्बुदङ्गचिक्कणं नमामि नन्दनन्दन करेण वेणुरञ्जितं गतिकरीन्द्रगञ्जितं दुकूलपीतशोभनं नमामि नन्दनन्दन त्रिभङ्गदेहसुन्दरं नखाद्युतिसुधाकरम् अमूल्यरत्नभूषणं नमामि नन्दनन्दन सुगन्ध अङ्गसौरभौरभूमि कौस्तुभं स्फुरच्छिवत्सलाञ्छनं नमामि नन्दनन्दन वृन्दावन सुनागरं विलासनोगवाससं सुरेन्द्रगर्वमोचनं नमामि नन्दनन्दन व्रजाङ्गनासुना पदायकं जगन्मन प्रलोभनं नमामि नन्दनन्दन श्रीनन्दनन्दनाष्टकं पठेद्य श्रद्धयान्वित तभेद् भवान् विदुस्तरं लवेद्युग्मकम् हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।